afternoon, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Tracy Williams, and I'm one of Meemaw's besties, or Linda. We call her Meemaw. And on behalf of Linda, Chris, Casey, Aggie, and Lawson, we would like to thank everyone for their outpouring of love since Aggie's passing on Sunday. I'm honored that Linda and Casey asked me to speak today, and when they did, I said, if you want me to do sad and reverent, I'm not your girl. I can't do that for Aggie. But if you want me to celebrate Aggie in her life, that I can do. As I was thinking about Aggie, I was having a hard time as to what to say. Not because I was at a loss for words, because there are so many, but how do you condense honoring somebody's life, 97 years, in just a few minutes? That's almost impossible. Not to mention the fact that I've only been around Aggie about 42 of those 96 years, so I was a little bit late to the party and getting to know Aggie. So this is Aggie Act 2. And as I was thinking and praying about what to say, a phrase kept popping up over and over. And I think this describes Aggie perfectly. And that phrase is a pillar of the community. I'm sure we've all heard that phrase at some point and have a general understanding of its meaning. But I wanted to dig deeper into the meaning and see why God put that phrase on my heart to describe Aggie. So let's start with the definition. A pillar of the community is an individual who is highly respected and influential within their local area, playing a significant role in the community's well-being and often serving as a positive role model. Let's look at a few of those attributes. A pillar of the community is respected and influential. Often holds a position of authority or leadership. Aggie may not have been the CEO of a corporation, and I say this with the utmost respect, but if you were ever working with Aggie or helping Aggie, she would assign you a task. Sometimes she did it with as much authority as the most powerful CEO out there. And if you weren't doing that task quite up to mustard, she could also use her leadership skills by leading you in the right way to accomplish that task. Pillars of the community can have diverse roles, and they can be entrepreneurs, religious leaders, educators, and community organizers, or simply individuals who consistently go above and beyond for their neighbors. In my outspoken opinion, this was Aggie's greatest attribute. She loved her family, her neighbors, and her community. She found great joy in lending a helping hand wherever she could, going above and beyond. And when she wasn't physically able to be as helpful as she would have liked, she made sure that Linda, Casey, or Chris was up to the task of being helpful, usually a task assigned by Aggie. Another way of describing a pillar, sometimes calling them a rock, backbone, or steadfast. In 1 Corinthians 15:58, Paul writes, "Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord." This passage could be interpreted to mean to be reliable, dependable, not easily excited, shaken, or affected. To me, all these words are great descriptors of Aggie's heart and character. Personally, there were many times that Aggie came to my rescue, especially when I was in the throes of raising small children, and there never seemed to be enough hours in the day to get all the things done. So when I would get utterly overwhelmed, she would show up, work circles around me, multiple circles around me, and trying her best to teach me how to not let things get so out of hand in the future. She would gently say, "Now, Tracy, this is how you do blah, 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 blah," whatever it was. She made it look and sound so easy. For me, it was not, in fact, easy. So she would eventually come back and we'd do it all over again. But the best part for me would be the things that I was going to donate, she gladly took with her to her basement. Where I'm Brenda. I'll come help. Sorry. And a well-known fact about Aggie is she was a great cook. Mr. Tony would always say after eating something, and I think he was being sincere because each meal just kept getting better and better. She spent an entire day about 20 years ago trying to teach me how to make dressing for Thanksgiving. It turned out so good. The second time I made it, all on my own, this past Thanksgiving. Well, let's just say I still have some work to do. All right, y'all get ready. This part's interactive. Raise your hand if any of you have ever had the pleasure of eating some of Aggie's delicious food, especially her pound cake. All right, good. All right, hands down. As good as a cook as Aggie was, she wasn't infallible. Raise your hand if you ever got to experience one of her not so delicious culinary experiences. There may have only been two. Y'all gonna remember this. I'm about to tell you. And I only have two words to describe this. Mayonnaise cake. Several of us learned a very valuable lesson that day. Mayonnaise and chocolate do not belong, ever belong in the same recipe. Ever. Who all got to taste that mayonnaise cake? Was it the pig picking? I think it was. I think she made that cake just so Mr. Tony didn't get all the attention for recipe fails. He taught us that vinegar does not belong in grits. Ever. Aggie may have felt a tad jealous because we teased Mr. Tony for so long about the vinegar grits. Both recipe failures were equally traumatizing. I could go on and on with stories about Aggie, as I'm sure you all have many stories as well. Hold tight to those stories and memories. Share them with each other, because that's the good stuff. Whether the memories revolve around activities here at Salem Baptist, or the Salem Baptist Fire Department, with their hobo and chitlin suppers, or the world-famous pig pickings, or any other plethora of activities, the underlying current of them all is Aggie loved her family, loved her people, loved her community, loved her neighbors, loved lending a hand, taking a meal to a friend, or just sitting and visiting. She was truly doing the work of the Lord. My challenge to you as we leave here today, let's all try to honor Aggie and her memory by slowing down long enough to spend time with those that matter the most to us, and look for ways we can help. Be like Aggie, unshakable, reliable, and a source of strength. Be steadfast.